So there was a lot of hype over Undertale for a while, and I just now got around to playing it. I know I might be a little late to the party with this video, but I still want to give my thoughts on the game design and why I thought it worked so well. That being said, this video will only be covering the pacifist playthrough since I kinda want to detach myself from some of the characters before I go on a murderous rampage. But be warned, there will be some slight spoilers, so stop the video right now if you don't want to know anything about the game, because I feel like that's the best way to play this game. And if you decide to watch the video anyway, then you might be a little lost on some of the things I have to say. So without any further ado, let's talk about Undertale. The first thing people will most likely mention about Undertale is the story, and for good reason. There's a lot of dialogue, and I mean a lot of dialogue, but that isn't the main reason why the story is so good. Undertale takes the topic of empathy and beats it into your brain until you cry like a baby. I mean, using empathy to drive the story and the characters is nothing really new, but at least it was done in the correct way. You actually get to know these characters through all of the weird situations that you have to go through during the game. And because of this, whenever you actually have to fight all of the bosses, you start to second guess whether or not you should harm them because they seem just as normal as you do. This is why I feel like the story would have been pretty average without all of these lovable characters. And yeah, you can pretty much say that about any game, but with a design that revolves around storytelling, characters are what make or break the experience, and luckily there are a wide variety of personalities so that you're bound to relate to at least one of them. You got yourself a lazy pun master, an awkward scientist bird thing, and a flower that wants to share love with you through little white friendliness pellets. Somebody call 911 because I need some help! But what exactly makes the character development so good? Well, let's use Toriel as an example, since she's introduced during the tutorial portion of the game. Wait a second. Toriel? Tutorial? And she also wants to be a teacher? Very clever, Toby. And since she's supposed to satisfy the overbearing guide character trope, she's portrayed as a mother figure. You can see how motherly she is because she basically tells you how to solve puzzles, she feels guilty whenever she leaves you alone, as well as leaving some pie for you whenever you go to sleep. And doing these things throughout the course of the introduction helps to build up her character and show you just how much she actually cares about you. So for me, during her boss fight dialogue, I actually started to feel a little guilty because I'm gonna leave her and in turn make her worry about my safety, since she didn't really just treat me like a child, she treated me like her child. And depending on what type of person you are, you most likely did have one of these thought-provoking moments with one of the other bosses. Maybe you're someone that wants to be part of a group, or a performer that seeks fame and the adoration that comes along with it. Or maybe in the past, you had to let go of the one thing that truly made you happy. Undertale definitely delivers when it comes to the development of these personalities, whether it's dialogue from the characters themselves or through other sources in the game. But the trade-off for having all of these great characters is the gameplay. Yeah, other than the combat, the gameplay was just kinda meh. But you have to understand that this is one of those rare cases where a game can get away with having lackluster gameplay. Most of the puzzles and situations are either really easy or just flat out solved for you. But when you look at the bigger picture, this led to a lot of the dialogue that helped to develop each of the characters. Imagine how Papyrus would have turned out if all of his puzzles didn't keep failing. It would have cut out a lot of the banter with Sans that helped show us what their personalities were like. Not only that, you would miss out on a lot of the small details that help to spice up the characters, because it's one thing for somebody to say something about another character, but it's another thing to actually see it for yourself. Asgore's a great example for this because as the final boss, he's being built up throughout the entire game through other people's dialogue, which for the most part make him seem like a pretty cool dude. And we're given the chance to see what they say to actually be true, because before we fight him, he's just chilling in his throne room that has a flower patch in it. So even though the gameplay suffered a bit, it opened up opportunities to get to know everybody you come across during the adventure. Maybe some of you don't really have problems with the gameplay at all, or maybe some of you don't think that these reasons are enough to justify the shortcomings, but those are my feelings about the matter. And oh my god, the music, it's just so good, and by far my favorite part of the game. To me, every song fit with their respective area and scenario that I could honestly make a whole new video talking about the sound design alone. Is it kinda weird that it switches between 8-bit and orchestra? Yeah. Is it worth it? Hell yeah. Why is it worth it? Because you get a song like this for the final boss battle. I kinda wanna leave things at that because I do plan on making a whole new video about Undertale's music sometime in the future. I hope I properly explained why I think the design worked out so well, but whether or not you like this game comes down to personal preference. God, I need to make a better outro than that. But until then, I'll see y'all next time.